If the United States wanted to strike almost anywhere on Earth tonight, it wouldn't need to rush, because the weapons are already there. In Qatar alone, Al Udeid Air Base hosts 11,000 personnel and close to 100 aircraft on just 60 acres of desert. And that base is only one of 750 American military installations spread across 80 countries. While other superpowers chased bigger bombs and faster jets, the U.S. took a different path, and in doing so, quietly locked in global dominance. Every military strategist knows the golden rule. Logistics wins wars, not firepower. You can have the most advanced fighter jet in the world, but if it can't refuel, it's a paperweight. You can have the best trained soldiers, but if they can't get ammunition, they're defenseless. This is where America's true genius reveals itself. Let me take you back to 1945. World War II just ended. Europe's in ruins. Japan's devastated. And the United States makes a decision that will reshape the next century. Instead of coming home, they stay. Bases in Germany, bases in Japan, bases in South Korea. At the time, it seemed like occupation, but it was actually the blueprint for permanent global reach. Fast forward to today. Japan alone hosts 120 U.S. military bases, the highest concentration anywhere on Earth. Germany has 119. South Korea has 73. These aren't just random outposts. They're nodes in a network, each one positioned with the ability to project power into every corner of the globe. But how did America build this network? They didn't build it overnight. They built it over 70 years. And why can't rivals copy it? Because you can't just plant a flag and call it a base. You need host nations willing to let you stay. You need infrastructure. You need trust, treaties, and time, luxuries that emerging superpowers simply don't have. Before we go further, hit that subscribe button, because what I'm about to reveal about America's lily pad strategy will completely change how you see global power. Now let's talk about something the Pentagon doesn't advertise loudly. Not all bases are the same. The U.S. military operates on a two-tier system that's absolutely brilliant in its design. Tier 1, the giants. These are bases larger than 10 acres or worth more than $10 million. They house over 200 personnel. They have hospitals, schools, power stations, even apartment complexes. They even have Burger Kings and bowling alleys. These are self-contained American cities on foreign soil. They make up 439 of the 750 bases, representing 60% of the total. But it's Tier 2 that's truly fascinating. The military calls them lily pads, small bases under 10 acres, less than $10 million in value. They sound insignificant, right? So why do they represent 40% of America's overseas military infrastructure? These lily pads are forward operating sites and cooperative security locations. Think of them as gas stations for military power. They're not meant to house thousands of troops or store mountains of equipment. They're meant to be jump points, refueling stations, emergency landing strips, medical evacuation sites. Here's what makes them genius. They're cheap to maintain, politically less controversial than massive bases, and they extend American reach exponentially. A fighter jet can only fly so far on one tank of fuel. But with lily pads dotted across the Pacific, the Middle East, Africa, and Eastern Europe, that same jet can now reach anywhere on Earth within hours. Let me give you a real-world example. Syria in 2017. The U.S. wants to strike ISIS targets. Without lily pads, bombers would need to fly from aircraft carriers, therefore limiting strike windows and response times. But with lily pads in Kuwait, Jordan, Turkey, and Qatar, American jets could hit targets within 30 minutes of receiving orders. That's not speed, that's reach. So why do lily pads matter so much? Because they turn American military power from a hammer into a scalpel. They allow for rapid response without the political baggage of massive permanent bases. They're the reason America can say, we'll conduct operations from over the horizon, and actually mean it. China and Russia are racing to build their own versions, but they're decades behind in both number and strategic positioning. Now let's talk numbers that'll make your head spin. As of 2020, the United States had approximately 173,000 troops deployed across 159 countries. That's over 80% of all nations on Earth. Japan tops the list with 53,700 American troops. Germany hosts 33,900. South Korea houses 26,400. But here's what's interesting. These numbers are actually down from peak deployment. Germany, for instance, had 72,400 U.S. troops in 2006. By 2020, that number had halved. But American global reach didn't decrease. If anything, it became more efficient. So how does America maintain the same level of global power with fewer boots on the ground? The answer isn't what you think. This is where technology meets strategy in the most fascinating way. Modern warfare isn't about occupying territory with massive armies anymore. It's about rapid deployment, precision strikes, and network systems. Those 173,000 troops aren't sitting in bunkers waiting for orders. They're training local forces, they're maintaining relationships with host nations, they're gathering intelligence, they're testing equipment in real-world environments. Take Camp Humphreys in South Korea, the largest overseas U.S. military base in the world. Sitting just 40 miles south of Seoul and less than 60 miles from the North Korean border, this 3,454-acre facility isn't just a base. It's a warning to North Korea. But Camp Humphreys is also a laboratory. New communication systems get tested there. Joint training exercises with South Korean forces happen there. Equipment gets put through its paces in conditions that simulate actual combat scenarios. The 26,400 troops in South Korea aren't just a deterrent, they're a continuously evolving military experiment. The same principle applies to Ramstein Air Base in Germany. This 3,000-acre hub is the logistical heart of American operations in Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. Next door sits Landstuhl Regional Medical Center, the largest U.S. military hospital outside American borders. During the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, thousands of wounded soldiers flowed through Landstuhl. The trauma surgeons there pioneered medical techniques that are now standard in civilian emergency rooms worldwide. America maintains global power with fewer troops through force multiplication. Every soldier is connected to satellite communications, drone surveillance, precision-guided munitions, and rapid reinforcement capabilities. One U.S. Marine in 2025 has more combat power at their fingertips than an entire platoon did in 1985. The bases aren't just housing troops, they're amplifying their effectiveness by factors of 10 or even 100. If you're finding this breakdown valuable, do me a favor and hit that like button. It tells YouTube to show this video to more people who are curious about how modern military power actually works. Coming back to the story, between 1.9 and 3 million American service members have been deployed to Afghanistan and Iraq since 2001. Over half deployed multiple times. The Costs of War Project at Brown University estimates 241,000 people died as direct results of the Afghan war alone. Hundreds of thousands more died from hunger, disease, and injury caused by the conflict. The Iraq War tells a similar tragic story. The U.S. invaded in 2003, searching for weapons of mass destruction that were never found. At its peak in 2007, 170,000 American troops occupied Iraq. Today, 2,500 remain under a security agreement with the Iraqi government. So was it worth it? Did these wars strengthen or weaken America's global military advantage? The honest answer is complicated. Militarily, these conflicts revealed weaknesses in counterinsurgency doctrine and exposed the limits of conventional warfare against asymmetric threats. Thousands of Americans died, trillions of dollars were spent. Public support for foreign interventions cratered. But from a purely strategic perspective, these wars also stress-tested America's global logistics network like nothing else in history. Every base, every supply line, every medical evacuation route, every communication system got pushed to its absolute limit. And they held. Udeid Air Base in Qatar became the nerve center for operations across the Middle East. This 60-acre facility hosted 11,000 personnel and nearly 100 aircraft at its peak. Combat air patrols launched from Udeid could reach targets in Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, or Yemen within hours. Wounded soldiers could be evacuated to Landstuhl in Germany and be in surgery within 24 hours of being injured. the network worked. Flawed strategy, questionable intelligence, controversial political decisions, all true. But the logistics network performed exactly as designed. America could project sustained combat power thousands of miles from its borders indefinitely. And here's what scares rival nations. The U.S. military learned from these conflicts. New doctrine was written, new technologies were developed, the network was optimized. What cost trillions to learn in blood and treasure now gives America a knowledge advantage that money alone can't buy. Were the wars worth it? That's a moral and political question without easy answers. But did they prove that America's network-based approach to global military power works? Absolutely. China watched and learned. Russia watched and learned. And they both realized they're playing catch-up in a game where the rules were written by someone else 70 years ago. Now let's zoom out and look at what this network actually means for global power dynamics. China is building artificial islands in the South China Sea, trying to create their own network of bases. Russia is re-establishing footholds in Syria, Venezuela, and parts of Africa. Both are attempting to replicate what America built, but they're running into the same fundamental problems. Problem 1, geography. America's network was built during a unique historical moment when the U.S. had unquestioned military superiority and economic dominance. Countries wanted American bases because they provided security guarantees and economic benefits. China can offer money through its Belt and Road Initiative, but it can't offer 70 years of proven security partnerships. Problem 2, trust. Japan, Germany, and South Korea host massive U.S. military presences because decades of alliance building created mutual trust. These aren't occupations, they're partnerships. Try to imagine any nation welcoming tens of thousands of Chinese or Russian troops with the same openness. It's not happening. But here's the question that will define the next 50 years of global security. Is this network sustainable? Can America maintain it? And what happens if it can't? The challenges are real. Domestic political pressure to reduce foreign commitments, rising costs, host nations questioning the value of American presence, China and Russia probing for weaknesses. The network that took 70 years to build could theoretically unravel much faster. But here's what the doom and gloom predictions miss. This network is self-reinforcing. Every base creates jobs in the host country. Every joint training exercise strengthens military partnerships. Every crisis response, such as earthquake relief, humanitarian aid, medical evacuation, builds goodwill. The network isn't just military infrastructure. It's economic, political, and cultural infrastructure too. Take Ramstein Air Base in Germany as the perfect example. The local German economy has become deeply intertwined with the base. Thousands of German civilians work there. German businesses supply the base. German communities have built entire economies around serving the base population. Closing Ramstein wouldn't just be a military decision, it would be an economic catastrophe for the region. That creates political pressure to keep the base open. Multiply that dynamic across 750 bases, and you start to understand why this network is so resilient. It's not held together by American power alone. It's held together by millions of individual decisions, economic relationships, and security arrangements that benefit both the U.S. and host nations. Can America sustain this network? We've covered bases, troop deployments, logistics networks, and historical conflicts. But we still haven't named the actual advantage, because it's not the bases themselves, it's not the troops, it's not even the technology. The real advantage is time. America has 70 years of institutional knowledge about how to project power globally. They've made every mistake, learned every lesson, and optimized every system. They've built relationships that span generations. They've created infrastructure that's deeply embedded in the global security architecture. China and Russia are trying to compress 70 years of development into a decade. It's not working. Building a base is easy. Building a network is hard. Building a network that's trusted, effective, and sustainable is nearly impossible without decades of trial and error. So in an age of hypersonic missiles, cyber warfare, and drone swarms, do physical bases even matter anymore? You'd think the answer would be no. Modern warfare is increasingly about technology, not geography. A hypersonic missile launched from mainland China could theoretically hit targets anywhere in the Pacific in minutes. Cyber attacks can cripple infrastructure without a single soldier crossing a border. Drones have made traditional air superiority less relevant. But all that advanced technology still needs bases. Hypersonic missiles need launch sites. Cyber warfare teams need secure facilities. Drones need maintenance, operators, and communications infrastructure. The form of warfare changes, but the need for forward positioning doesn't. If anything, emerging technologies make the base network more valuable. AI-powered defense systems need distributed data centers. Directed energy weapons need massive power supplies. Space-based assets need ground stations. Every technological advancement creates new infrastructure requirements, and America already has the global real estate to build on. Moreover, physical presence still matters for deterrence. A cyber attack is scary. 1,000 troops at your border is terrifying. The psychological impact of American bases, knowing that F-35s could launch strikes within minutes, knowing that rapid response forces are hours away, that psychological weight is irreplaceable. Do bases matter in modern warfare? More than ever. They're the foundation that makes every other capability possible. They're the reason America can promise over-the-horizon operations and deliver on that promise. They're why every rival nation is desperately trying to build their own network, despite knowing they're decades behind. The U.S. advantage isn't speed, it's not stealth, it's not even technological superiority, though America has that too. The real advantage is the network. 750 bases across 80 countries. 173,000 troops deployed in 159 nations. 70 years of institutional knowledge. Relationships that span generations. Infrastructure so deeply embedded in the global system that removing it would reshape the entire world order. It's the reason America can be everywhere, all the time, without exhausting itself. China's building islands. Russia's making moves, but they're not building networks, they're building outposts. And there's a world of difference. So do you think this network is sustainable for another 70 years? Or are we watching the slow decline of American global military dominance? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you made it this far, you're clearly serious about understanding military strategy. Do me two favors. First, subscribe to this channel. We break down complex military topics like this regularly. Second, go watch our previous video on the top 5 fighter jets in 2026. Because now that you understand the network, you need to understand the platforms operating within it.